Hey, Kris, welcome to the show. I want to thank you for coming on, and I want you to tell people about your involvement in the surf scene, your band, Raucous, and the release on Bandcamp, which link to, and all the things that go into it. Introduce yourself, and the floor is yours.
Cool. All right. Cheers. Thanks for having me. I'm a one-man band up in Canada, and I do several things. I have an instrumental project, which is how you contacted me. It's KB Raucous and the Cave Dwellers, and that's me. I play everything. I overdub everything, and it's sort of an imaginary band. Doing what I always wanted to do. We have done a few gigs where I found guys to do that and do a live show. And I also do a one-man band, which is sort of like a little more punk rock. And I do the drums with the feet and the guitar and the singing and all that, and that's fun too. So that's what I do out of Calgary, up here in Canada, which is north of Montana, sort of in the middle of nowhere. But
okay.
Yeah, it's a city of 1 million plus. I'm in that area, so that's
okay. Yeah. City.
I'm sorry?
That's a pretty large city.
It is. Yeah, there's Canada is they're spread out, and there's two big cities in my province, Calgary and Edmonton. To the west of us, it's Vancouver, but that's about a 10-hour drive. That's quite a large city, Vancouver, Seattle area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like British Columbia is strange. There's a guy named Jason Detheridge who's in the Surf Hermits there, and he has a friend, Rod, who's in the Angry Red Planet, who's also in British Columbia, but he told me there are like 3 time zones in that province, which is crazy compared to here.
Yeah, you're in Pennsylvania, is that right?
Yeah, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. So that's Eastern Daylight Time right now.
Yeah. Yes, I've been to New Jersey and New York, but I don't believe I've ever been to Pennsylvania, and I've been to Maine. So,
I've never been to Maine, but I hear it's very beautiful.
Yeah, I've been to Bangor, Maine.
Nice.
Yeah.
A lot of my
I'm sorry?
Oh, a lot of my friends go there to vacation.
Oh, I bet. Yeah, cool place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and you found my music, I believe, on Bandcamp. I've got a few releases. This is one of my, how old is this now? This is from 2021 already. So this is, I did a CD, and there's 12 tracks on here. All original.
Nice.
And there's a few vocal tracks on this, but I did everything. I record it here in the room behind me. And so I do everything, all the production, I play everything, and it's sort of at my leisure, which is nice. I didn't like the pressure of the studio, You're like, it's an hour, we got to record the whole album today. And so I started piecing together a studio, and now I can just leisurely chip away at things. And I've done a few releases. They're all on Bandcamp. A few one-man band things. I did a 7-inch. There, that's my one-man band. You probably can't see with the light. And I've done
are these all surf?
Well, this is my one-man band. Is more. There is some surfy tracks on there, but it's a little more on the punk rock side. And this album is predominantly instrumentals. I'd say, you could put it in that genre for sure.
Yeah, the most recent I checked out was primarily a surf release.
Oh,
and the reason I came across it was this gentleman, Hunter King, who puts out from Storm Surge of Reverb radio show.
Yeah, he's in Louisiana.
Yes, New Orleans. Yes.
Yeah, right.
And he has a radio show and a website, and he puts out a list of all the releases from 20 every year. You know, at the end of the year, he does a list of all the surf release or surf-related releases he can find, which is tons. You know, hundreds.
Yeah, he puts great.
Yeah, he puts links to all the bands, which makes it easy to contact. And, you know, further, you know, a lot of times he does reviews of those bands on his site. So you could check that out and maybe share, you know, what he has to say. He's certainly pretty...
He's a great guy. I was blown away at all the great bands on that show. I was like, holy cow. You see, I'm a drummer, and I was listening to these guys, and I'm really not an accomplished guitar player. I mean, I'm learning, but I'm like, holy cow. You know, maybe I should pack it in here, but I keep doing it.
Dude, so tell me what inspired you to do this, the latest, you know, surf intro release.
Yeah, I did a 4-song EP that was pretty, you know, you could definitely put it in the surf genre. It was called Driver. It's got a yellow cover. It's on Bandcamp. It was only a digital release. I didn't try doing a physical version of it yet. But I just love that music. I mean, one of my favorite bands is The Ventures, and old stuff from the 60s and old rock and roll. And I just always wanted to play it, you know. And you start messing around and putting songs together. And I've done many instrumentals. They're getting a little bit of notice in Europe and around Canada. DJs are playing them. I've probably recorded 30 instros all on my own. And
oh wow.
Yeah, about 30 of them. And you know, it's mostly that as a personal accomplishment. I don't. I'm a bit of a closet guy up here in Canada. I just I do it. I don't have a band that I can go hit the stages with doing the instros. So I'm working on it, but it's just something I love, you know, and all that old stuff. I like, well, obviously Dick Dale, Ike Turner instrumentals, Link Ray, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
You know, that kind of stuff, and stuff that's generally a lot older than I am. And just my little stab at it, you know?
Yeah. What like surf song or guitarist inspired you to pick up a guitar and give surf a shot?
Well, that's a good question. I think as a teenager, I listened to oldies. You know, my mom had the oldies station on, so you'd hear that sort of the Ventures, the Wailers and stuff. And then what really got me was a guitar player named East Bay Ray to the Dead Kennedys. And because I really liked that kind of stuff as a teenager, and I thought, wow, this is so different, so crazy, you know. And yeah, he's probably my biggest soul inspiration to pick it up, you know. That's why I played a Marshall, and that's why I play Fender-esque instruments, because of him.
Yeah, that's I don't know if it's coming from a punk rock way or a surf background, but a lot of people who play punk rock or surf, that band, the Dead Kennedys, kind of transcends genre and kind of hits people in a way that they could like look at that and go, okay, I could do one of the many things they have going on, you know, surf, punk, you know, the stuff with the horns, the experimental stuff. I mean, certainly when I heard them, I'm just like, what's happening here? And then I heard like Bedtime for Democracy, and I was like, well, you know, that's like the hardcore thing. And I was like, well, this is all like, you know, pretty wild, you know. So you could pretty much find that in a lot of these bands that they're influenced by such artists that aren't afraid to branch out. Is that what you're
Yeah, I like that. I like that, you know, breaking out of the mold. And, you know, like, that's what they did. And that was interesting to me. It had a heavy sound that wasn't squeaky clean, and but it was still really just got you, you know. And I think sort of like the, you know, the first time you hear Link Ray or something like that, the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I like that rougher stuff, and well, naturally my recordings sound that way.
Yeah, but
So.
I mean, like the ever release is quite, it's recorded quite well, you know. It sounds great, and like your intention was immediately recognized, you know. I knew what I was getting from the very second I put it on.
Cool. Well, that's what I was hoping to reach, people like you. that you know, that you get it when you hear it, and it takes a while. I'm getting better. It's a craft. You know, I've got a recipe that works for my recordings. I use a lot of tube preamps and old mics. I've got the Newman copy because I couldn't afford a $5,000 Newman microphone, but it's 47 big condenser mic, and I use that a lot. Run it all through tube preamps, and I'm getting a little better at it. You know, it takes a while to get that sound down. When you get it, then you just let it rip. And,
yeah.
It actually takes longer getting the sound down usually than cutting the part.
Yeah, like getting the pre-production, or like the setup you want, than actually writing and recording the tunes.
Yeah, the sound is important, you know, like, and that's what can make your recording or break it, really. I'm trying to get that old school sound into it, right? It's tough when everything's digital, and it could very easily, it would sound bad if you What
as far as like at least at my age, when I was, you know, 20, 21 in college, and I was recording, we did it on 2-inch tape, analog. And, you know, when I did digital recordings, there's an obvious, you know, I'm not, even though I went to school for it, I'm not really good at recording myself. I usually just do it to document what I'm doing. And like, how do you get it to sound like, what I'm sounding like is, you want it to sound old school, which is pretty much analog sound. And you know, like, what are your tricks to get digital recordings to sound that way?
I don't use a lot of post production, like tweaking on Pro Tools and all of that. Basically, I run an old Tascam, but it's now a 24 track. I used to do 8, but I was running out of room when you start adding things in. I use a 24 track, and it does record digitally, but it's mostly analog with the controls and everything. So using those 2 preamps, and then I run a little bit of compression, real simple. Like, it's someone who knows what they're doing would probably laugh at what I'm doing, but it works. So, and there's many ways to do this. You know, I'm not schooled or anything either. I just trial and error. I said, how does this sound? You know, how does this mic sound over here? Oh, move it over there and run it through a different preamp. And I've recently, it's over there. But preamps really make the difference, you know. And listen to my favorite records. Let's say the old Link Ray stuff. It was recorded in a chicken coop with, like, I thought I remember reading, a good Newman microphone that his brother bought. the drummer. And so I started thinking, geez, I like that sound. It doesn't matter too much the room. They recorded it in a chicken coop. So the room isn't that important, I thought. Okay, and you know, it's more mic placement, guitar sound, how you're playing it, and, that'll get you there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So the room you're in right now, it doesn't look like there's a whole lot of like soundproofing or tiles or anything.
Nope, I don't like any of that. The biggest thing is a live sounding, like a concrete or tile floor. Really makes a difference. I hate carpet, kills the sound. And I have no soundproofing. This is just a developed, wide open basement of my home. And you know, that's it. I don't put the mics right up to the amp. I put them back about minimum 8 inches or more. And I capture that sound. Put a bit of room reverb on the final sound, and yeah, I don't do a lot of mastering or post recording. That tends to ruin it. You know, start fiddling everything, and
yeah. Sometimes if you put too much thought into it, it like comes out and you're like, oh, I'm just unhappy. And it's not really a bad song. It's just that you're overthinking it, or at least sometimes I have overthought it, you know?
Yeah, and that's it's easy to do that. You got toys, you got technology, you want to start using it. And I've had a guy master some of my stuff, and I just, oh wow, he went, you know, he messed with the sound too much. I didn't like it. I didn't tell him that because it was too nice. But I went and redid it. And nice. So just keep it simple, you know, like start with the good sound from your amp. And if you don't have that, then you're gonna lose.
Yeah. So tell me about the gear, the guitar and amp of choice.
Well, I've got I got a lot of the stuff. My amps, I've got 3 of them here. I'm a real fan of Marshalls, okay? And with a delay. A lot of my recordings have a clean Marshall with a delay. You need some reverb. They're really dry amps and bright. And my favorite Fender amp is a Vibro King.
Oh.
A big 60-watt Vibro King, and it's got the built-in reverb circuit, which is really cool. I have a love-hate relationship with that amp. Really sensitive to tubes and all sorts of things, but when you get it, oh, it's like the angels are singing down rock and roll. And it's a great amp with the certain guitars, mainly Strats. But yeah, this is one of my favorite recording guitars, an old Hagstrom.
Oh wow!
So it's a 1964. Actually, I bought it from New Orleans. Long story, but I don't play out with it much because it's a little fragile and well, obviously unique, hard to replace. But so that sounds really cool. Bright single coils.
Mm-hmm.
They almost have a P90-ish sound to them. Really cool. And super skinny neck, not for everyone, but great sound, 60s sound of that one. And I have my Leprechaun Strat, green.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's just an American standard, about 8 years old. And American Pro, I guess they would call it. It's all stock. I use that a lot. And what else have I got? Oh, my favorite hollow body. I've used this a lot as well. Is this? It's a Guild reissue.
Oh wow!
So it's a Starfire Guild Bixby.
That's
Guild
nice.
stuff. And it's got mini humbuckers. Very cool pickups. A lot of mojo. And totally hollow. But this thing
is that a little bit more for like the rockabilly stuff?
it pulls off really good surfy riffs actually, but it's a great rock and roll guitar.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's one of my faves for recording. And between those, you can pretty much get it all. And
Nice.
another little combo I have is a Marshall Silver Jubilee. I bought all this stuff used, and it's nice just to have that small combo. You can crank it, and I line it out through a Mesa Boogie 2x12, and with the two speakers, you can get different mic placement and different mics. And fatten up the sound, right?
Yeah.
So I usually just use a SM57
Okay.
with my condenser mic. Sometimes a ribbon mic. I'll rent one, a Royer ribbon mic, pretty expensive, and they have a great sound. I have an upright bass I put on some of those instrumentals on this record. Sort of a old school psychobilly sound, sort of, but I record that upright with the ribbon mic. Just no pickups, just acoustic right in the middle of the room.
Oh wow, nice.
Yep, sort of
Yeah.
that true old school sound. I mean, seemed to make sense to me. People like to overthink a lot of things, and my recordings are okay, but I did them myself, so.
Right. What kind of like plugins and software do you like to record to? I know my production stuff is primarily done on Zoom. So all anybody ever sees is a Zoom link, but connected to the computer for the Zoom, there's a Sony cam and a Sigma, lens, and then there's lighting and all that stuff has to go with it. So the stuff you don't see, I'm also interested in that you do. Like, what's your,
Well, I actually don't use plugins. I use when I'm done recording, I'll master it. I mean, that's essential. And I bought a mastering program off of Sweetwater, one of those big retailers.
Oh, nice.
And it was sort of a user-friendly, minimal. There's only like 6 buttons or maybe 8 buttons on this thing. It's very easy to use, unlike some of them that have a huge manual. It takes you a month to learn how to use them. And I thought, no, I don't need that. I need to bring up the volume. I need to add lows, add highs. I need to add a little bit of compression, and that's it. That's it. Too much of any of those things, and it starts to go sideways. So, but that was called Lursen. I don't know. Lursen Mastering Console, and I feel like $200, and I just bought that, and everything I do, I run it through there and master it, bring up the volume, and I don't do much. There's some guessing going on there. That's it. Really minimal. I don't. I wouldn't even know how to use a plugin.
Oh wow.
Yep. That's
nice. So, do you at all play out with any groups, bands, solo stuff?
Yeah, I did a gig. March 6th with Bloodshot Bill, who's a Canadian.
Oh wow!
And I opened the gig.
Big deal.
Yeah. I played with him several times in the last 20, 25 years. But he was coming through, and the club contacted me to open it with my one-man band show, and so that was pretty cool. But yeah, I don't play out as much as I'd like, especially with this instrumental stuff. I briefly had a group together, and we did a gig, but it's tough. It's tough to find a guy, as you know, and get rehearsed and keep it together for any amount of time. It's pretty tough.
Yeah, like when you start, in your life and into career and responsibilities. Other than that, it starts to get to the point where you're juggling 3 or 4 lives instead of just scheduling, just to get the people agreed. Yeah, just to get the people to agree to show up to do the thing. I'm not talking about me, but I'm talking about everybody in general, who wants to collaborate with other people. It's just...
It's tough. Yeah, everybody's getting busier, and the cost of living is making it tougher for everybody. And that's why I do this. I thought, well, I'm not just going to give up. The hell with that. I'll have to learn how to do everything.
Well, that's cool. I mean, that was why, I did a lot of recordings on my own and did things on my own, just because, I had things that I had written, and rather than let them go to waste or, even to me be forgotten, I decided to record them somehow,
Well, cool. And you can do that. And, whether anyone wants to hear it is another thing, but
that is true. That is true. You put it out, if I get feedback, I get feedback, but at least it's documented somewhere,
Yeah, and to me, that's the real enjoyment. I mean, I love sitting down here with that feeling when you get a good song done, and you're mixing it, and it's starting to come alive, and it's like doing a painting. You know what I mean? It's like seeing it come together and hearing it, and it's a real rewarding thing for me. And if that's all there is at the end of the day, then it's good enough. I'm happy, and that's why I'm pretty proud and happy with my stuff I've done, and that's the reward right there.
Cool.
Yep.
Well, I want to thank you so much, Kris, for coming on, and just keep at it. I really enjoyed your entire catalog on Bandcamp, which is quite prolific, might I add. But I'm anxious to hear more surf stuff.
I've got some coming. I've got.
Oh, great!
I actually just mastered a new intro last night. I'm thinking. I used to be able to do albums, and now they're down to EPs.
Yeah.
But they're good songs, and I'd rather do quality over quantity with it, right? And,
yeah, totally.
So there's a new 4-song thing coming out, 2 surfy tracks and 2 vocal tracks, which are sort of trampsy type tunes, the vocal ones, and so that's going to be called Shakin in the Grave. It's a new EP.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that should be, I'm hoping May to have that at least digitally done. So I'll email you some tracks.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
If you're interested, geez, I've got a bunch. I should send you some.
Sure. There's on our email correspondence, there should be my address.
Yeah.
Which is, it's not the South Savannah address, it's the Painter's Way.
Oh, the physical address.
Yeah. If you want to send anything like that. If not, the digital is, email is fine.
Well, I can send you, this is the CD. You have a CD player?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't now.
Well, I was going to review this one CD, and luckily I had a digital version, so I did that. But I bought this cheap CD player I could plug into the computer and then import it. And I should have just got an Apple SuperDrive, because it got stuck in there and now I can't get out. And since it's got no physical buttons on it, I don't know how to I don't know how to reset it. It's not being recognized. Yeah, anyways. But thank you so much, Kris.
Yeah, cheers. Yeah, and I appreciate that. You finding me and doing the interview, and Yeah, it's KB Raucous and the Cave Dwellers. This is my little imaginary band. So
awesome. All right, great. I'm gonna cut it off there, but what I'd like you to do, if you could, is if you could just like hold your phone up like this and take a selfie of yourself and just email it to me while we're on the call.
Okay.
And
so, a selfie just right where I'm sitting here?
Yeah, because I want it to look like it's in the interview, but sometimes like the phone like selfie image looks better than like the Zoom signal.
Oh yes, yeah, the Zoom's a little grainy. So should I, here, let's see. Okay.
Yeah, however, it's going to be for the thumbnail, so however you want to look on the thumbnail, like in front of,
I'll send you something here.
Okay.
But while I got you, I want to show you something cool that I got the other day. I don't want to. I've got lots of gear, but I don't like showing too many people because I know someone who had their collection robbed, because
oh, really?
People found out about it and took this person's guitars. He had a lot of old expensive Gibsons, and he lost like 20 guitars in what was basically a robbery. Yes, sort of scary. But if you're a fan of Fenders,
I am very much.
I got something quite cool. This is a new. Can you see it? It's pink. It's a Joe Strummer case.
Does it have a telly in it?
Well, it fits Strats. So I have this is a newer guitar of mine. It's a '62 reissue Strat.
Yeah, very, very, very cool.
And it's got the leopard inside. Yeah. So I was pretty stoked. I thought, wow, I didn't know that Fender made that.
Yeah, I'm a mad Joe Strummer fan.
I got lots of stuff, but and I'm originally a drummer. I didn't show much of my drums, but I figured you weren't too interested. But
no, I am, but any sort of like gear video you want to shoot, I always give people the option to, like bands and musicians, the option to record their own like gear videos and send it to me. And I would love if you would do one. You're not required to, but if you'd like to, I would love to include it.
Okay, well, yeah, I've definitely got a lot of that. I have a nice Jazz Master too, but I don't, I don't use it a lot. A few recordings I've used it on. What I showed you is pretty much I've recorded 90% of my stuff with those three guitars.